Now, if you say, oh, come on, Dana White's just, talking out of his rear end, Gronk confirmed it in that discussion. So it's not BS. But, man, that is not a good look for Gruden. You could have had, the GOAT and Gronk potentially, and who knows what happens that year if you have those two guys, but he shot it down, and the rest is history. Brady goes to Tampa and wins it. Yeah.
That is absolutely crazy.
Yeah. We're back, Sports Take. Let's hit that like button, folks. We appreciate it. Tell a friend about the show, about the channel. JAKIB Sports YouTube channel is phenomenal. Go to jakibsports.com as well to check out all of our content. Our guy John McMullen on there, and John will be joining us over the course of the next 2 days as the Eagles practice in Miami. So we're looking forward to getting updates and reports of actually, somebody there eyeballing this stuff and what's going on. So we'll talk to John the next couple of days. All right. So, NFL news, guys. First and foremost, I found this one interesting. Chase Young, the defensive end from the Washington Commanders, he has been put on the PUP list, which means he's going to miss at least the first 4 games, which means the Eagles will avoid him. I don't like seeing anybody hurt. I'm not celebrating that the guy is injured, but it does help the Eagles. Apparently, his injury was a lot worse. He had a torn patellar tendon too. Yep. There was a lot going on with this injury, and it's a pretty serious rehab. This isn't one of those where, hey, it's 2022, everybody comes back from an ACL. Like, there's a lot going on with that injury, especially for a guy that explosive. So it may be a while. Yeah. But that's a big one for Washington not to have him first 4 games.
Yeah, that really affects Jack Del Rio's scheme overall.
Absolutely.
He is their premier pass rusher. As good as that defensive front is, he's their premier pass rusher, and that really hurt. Montez Sweat had a great season last year, but he's not this dude, So, yeah. You're right. I don't want to see anybody hurt. I like seeing competitors go at it full strength and may the best man win. But wow, that's a big blow to Washington.
Big time.
I tore my patella tendon and I was out for 12 months. Well, actually 16 months. I ripped my whole quad muscle from my patella tendon.
Oh man.
Yeah, Barry, I mean, it is a difficult, arduous rehab, and he also tore his MCL. Like, this was a really bad one. So, I don't know if there's a guarantee he's ready to roll after those 4 games, but he definitely won't be there for the first 4. So
he hasn't practiced at all, right?
I don't believe he has.
He hasn't done anything. Patella tendon, that's one of the worst you could do, man.
No joke. Yeah, it's no joke. They lost their backup center too. They placed he tore his Achilles, Tyler Lawson. So they have some depth issues along both lines.
What is it with all these linemen across the league going down, man? Keep your fingers crossed. The Eagles stay healthy. Jeez.
No, you're right. So that's an interesting one for sure. Right
then you got the Giants losing their entire. Everybody's going with that team, man.
Their draft picks are gone. Oh, the draft picks are out, man.
I know. We had Jordan Reynon on yesterday, man, and he was talking about some of the injuries, and you're just like, whoa, it's hard to even keep up with how many.
What exactly? I mean, I know
offensive line in particular.
That's
major
crazy.
Issues. Yeah, major issues on the offense.
Not only that, but like 6 of the draft picks are out right now.
Yeah,
from this year.
Right.
I saw the Thibodeau. I don't know when we're going to get into that, man. But
we'll get into it 1 second. Just let me throw one more out there because the Eagles play Detroit week 1. Jamison Williams won't play either. He still hasn't recovered from the ACL that he tore in college at Bama, so he won't be around for Detroit for that same thing. He's going to be pupped. So anyway, so two matchups where the Eagles won't face somebody who could potentially be a quality opponent.
Well,
right there.
Man, he was probably the best receiver in that draft. So
I know.
They dodged the bullet.
Yeah.
They dodged the bullet.
Well, all right, Barrett. So Derek and I talked a little bit, but I'm curious where you fall. So Kayvon Thibodeau gets it's Thaddeus Moss, who's Randy's son, who's a tight end for Cincinnati, cuts him on the line. Really awkward. With all things considered, it's a lot better than what they thought it was going to be. He could probably miss upwards of 4 weeks, which may just preclude him from the very first game. But there was a lot of debate, and among retired players too, whether it was a clean hit or a dirty hit. Where do you fall on it?
I mean, I don't understand. Dirty hit. I'm trying to figure out how They both made eye contact when he was going to hit him. They made eye contact. He sees what's going on. And that was the biggest half-ass effort I've ever seen with the block. Well, I can't say that because it's a tight end. But he kind of went down, fell to the ground, then rolled at him. Play the position the way it's supposed to be played, Thibodeau. Get your hands down, shut him down. It was just it looked like they were going in slow motion. That's why he got hurt, because he was half-ass playing.
Right.
He didn't move his feet.
No. He didn't move his feet. He didn't use his hands to extend them. He saw the block coming. It took a whole country minute for it to happen, bro. It was like, all right, he's coming. All right, he's going down. Okay, all right, now let me put my hands down. Okay, he's still coming. He's rolling. Oh, man, he just hit my leg. Come on, bro.
Right.
Go full speed. If you know what? If that had happened back when I was playing, and I hate to be the man, get off my lawn.
Yeah.
Ken Harvey would have knocked that tight end's teeth out. He'd have ran straight through him, exploded through his face. But he just sat there, waited on him, put his hands down like this. You're supposed to shed the block. Get your hands down. Keep your feet moving. He could have just jumped over him.
Exactly. He could have sidestepped him.
Yeah. It was funny because Warren Sapp, I guess he's taken up for defensive lineman, whatever. He called it the hit dirty AF. We all know what that means. All right. So then after he threw that out there, I just saw like a ton of replies from former players saying, "You kidding me, man? Where are Thibodeau's eyes? Where is
exactly.
he? Where are his feet?
Exactly.
Like, what are we doing here?" So, I mean, is it a play that you like? I get maybe the argument is, hey, it's a preseason game. Maybe that's your argument, but it's not an illegal play. It's not.
And when I first heard about it, because I didn't see it. When I first heard about it, I'm like, oh, man, what happened? He must have ran through his body.
Right.
I see the block, and then somebody sent it to me. I looked at it, and once it happened, I'm looking. So I was like, all right, let me fast forward. Let me find out where this dirty block is. That was it?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Yes.
Yeah. Grow up, man. Be a man.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, Randy Moss was like, not like, oh, why'd you do it? He's probably like, son, why you going there with that half-ass block? You go full speed when you're out there playing.
Right.
What are you doing?
And he's a guy who's trying to make the team too.
Yeah.
He's not guaranteed a spot by any stretch. Thaddeus Moss. Yeah.
I think Brian Daboll said it best yesterday. It's a legal play. We've done it. You hate to see it happen. We've done it, but there's nothing you can do about it. We're just thankful that it wasn't worse. I mean, what else are you going to say? I mean, the head coach of the team of the player that happened to said, "Hey, we've done it. We do it." To compare.
Well, to compare to the Quincy Williams hit on Jalen Hurts, like, give me a break. That was a dirty play.
That was dirty. That was stupid.
Period. Yeah, that was a cheap shot,
bro.
I was curious what your take was, Barrett, on that.
No, it was some BS, man. Like, come on, now, you really kidding me, man? I could see if it was like along the lines of like what's second baseman for the Phillies.
Oh, Chase Utley taking somebody out at second.
Yeah, I can see if it was like that. He wasn't even running towards the base.
Right.
If that was I'd understand that.
Yeah.
If that was like the Chase slide, yeah, I understand. He broke his leg. He wasn't even sliding towards the base.
Right.
But I'm talking about somebody you see him. Your eyes are focused on. You see him coming.
You're looking right at it.
That was ridiculous, man. That was ridiculous.
That was lazy on his part.
Yes. Both blocks were. The block was lazy.
And look, I'm glad the dude isn't hurt badly. But yeah, I hear you. You're going to be dealing with that stuff in the NFL. It just is. It just is what it is.
If the dude had a blindsided him, it would have been a much more heated discussion.
Right.
There was no blindside. There was no interference between the two combatants.
Yeah.
He's standing there looking at this dude coming in, and he's saying, "I'm going for your lower extremities."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you didn't jump over him, sidestep him, push him away with your hands, stonewall him with your hands, nothing. You took the full extent of that blow yourself.
All right. So this story, I meant to get to it yesterday, Derek, and we didn't. So I'm glad I have both of you guys here. So they're doing a UFC event, and Dana White, who's the commissioner of the UFC, the owner of it, the whole thing, relays a story how he's originally from New England. He lives in Vegas. He had somehow facilitated communication and potentially a deal with the Raiders and Gruden. This is when John Gruden and Mike Mayock are still at the Raiders, okay? Think back to the year. It was the year that the Tampa Bay Bucks won it, all right? So two seasons ago. Brady's a free agent. Gronk's a free agent. Dana White had convinced both of those guys to go there. It sounds like everybody was on board, and at the last second, Gruden put the kibosh on it. Now, if you say, "Oh, come on," Dana White's just talking out of his rear end, Gronk confirmed it in that discussion. So it's not BS. But man, that is not a good look for Gruden. You could have had the GOAT and Gronk potentially, and who knows what happens that year if you have those two guys. But he shot it down, and the rest is history. Brady goes to Tampa and wins it. Yeah.
That is absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, what are you thinking about? Are you kidding me?
I don't know. I don't know what his motivation would be for. He just believes in Derek Carr that much? Maybe?
No. He wanted to run his system. If Brady comes there, he would have to change that system, just as Bruce Arians did. Bruce Arians was smart enough to realize, Tom, what worked for you so well in New England? Okay, everybody, scrap the book. Throw the script out.
Yep.
Listen to what Tom Brady said that we're going to do. With that, they won the Super Bowl the first year.
Right.
John Gruden, with that complicated system of his where you got like 85 syllables in one play call, and everybody's standing going, huh? What did he just say? He wanted to run his system.
Yeah.
How do you not take Tom Brady over Derek Carr? That's not a knock against Derek Carr. I think Derek Carr is a good quarterback.
Right.
But to have Tom Brady come in there,
why expedite Z-Cross?
Yeah.
Umbrella over his right.
Yeah.
Dog tail stick.
Yeah, we're going to have to throw out the banana. Yeah, throw the banana out.
Remember when Gruden was on a Hard Knocks when he was in Tampa and you got to hear his play call? Play call was like 15 seconds.
Oh, yeah. It was the whole play clock. You're like all right.
Come on, man.
All right. What else? Barrett, you lived it with him.
Bro, it was ridiculous, man. All we just we listened to the first three letters, what the play was, and what was it on. That's all we did.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
that's a classic case of your ego getting in the way, man.
Yeah.
Just
Gruden
getting in the way.
He would not have had any control over the offense or the quarterback.
Yep.
At least he had Derek Carr's ear and he had his offensive structure in place, what he wanted to run. Yeah. I can't believe the ownership let that happen. Forget Gruden. I can't believe management let that happen.
Yeah, Mark Davis.
Yep. Look, John, we got the GOAT. We got the GOAT and one of the best tight ends ever to play the game. They want to come here, play for us.
Yeah.
You're going to have to change your philosophy, not them. They have winning pedigree.
Yeah.
Plain and simple.
Fair enough.
All right, you got one Super Bowl. You got 5 Super Bowls. One Super Bowl, 5 Super Bowls.
Yeah, I hear you.
All right, sorry, Gruden.
Yep.
And when was the last time the Raiders won a Super Bowl?
I don't know.
Jeez.
And then what? The next year, all that stuff comes out from Washington.
Oh my goodness.
And that's it. That's all she wrote. Yeah. And now Gruden's doing them. So yeah, it'll be interesting. All right. I wanted to hit you guys with some quarterbacks that are in question, meaning we're not sure exactly how it's going to work out for them. We won't do Hurts because we've done Hurts and we did it a ton earlier in the show. So when people say, well, where's Jalen Hurts? Yes, he's in the group, but we already really covered it. But you guys tell me how you think some of these guys are going to do this year. All right. I'll just sort of rapid fire them. And it's a combination of guys who have been around a little bit in new places and either rookies or young guys starting really for the first time. Okay. Trey Lance. Barrett, I'll start with you. How do you think he's going to do in San Fran?
I think he'll be fine. It's going to take him a while. They're going to have to customize that offense around him, but we know Shanahan is a genius at doing stuff like that anyways. I mean, at this point, if he does, they still have a safety net there because they still got both quarterbacks there. I still don't think that, Jimmy G is going to go anywhere because of that. But I do like, I do like that they, all right, this is what we're doing. We're venturing forward. This is our quarterback. We're going to go forward. We're going to try to, figure out what he does. How can we make him a better player? We got the athletes around him. I think he'll be okay. Okay,
Derek?
He adds an element that Garoppolo didn't have. He can take off his scat if he has to, so he has the legs as well. And Barrett is exactly right. Kyle Shanahan is a great offensive mind. They will conform that offense around him. They already have everything else in place. Offensive line, defensive line, tight end, running back, wide receivers. All they need is somebody to manage the game. You know, he's going to go through some growing pains, no question about that. But when you turn the reins over to a young, untested quarterback, you think he's ready to go. And obviously the 49ers, who have basically put Garoppolo in the back seat, mainly because he's still damaged goods, you know, his shoulder, they don't know what his shoulder is going to be like. They had to get this kid up to speed in a hurry. So I think he's going to be fine within the structure of that 49ers framework.
I think he's going to have a little – I think it's going to be a struggle early, and then I think he'll get more comfortable. I think they'll settle in more on how to utilize him best. You know, they have a good setup. They have a good running game. They have Debo, who can kind of do both. They have Kittle. They have, you know, with the exception of really one spot, a pretty good offensive line. I think it's going to take a little bit of time, though. And they have a defense. They have a good defense. But I think it's going to take a little bit of time for him to get comfortable and them to get comfortable with him. So I think you might see early growing pains. I haven't really studied their actually, I'll do it right now. I'll pull their schedule up here, and let's see how difficult it is, San Francisco. So, all right, so early on for them, it's pretty favorable, actually, the first two. They're at Chicago and then Seattle at home. So they could get off to a good start. Then they go to Denver, and then they play the Rams. But then they get Carolina and Atlanta. Really, of their first 5 games or 7 games, 5 are pretty favorable. So anyway, I think he'll be a little slow to start, but I think then he'll pick it up. All right, let's go Trevor Lawrence, Derek. Now with a real coach and, you know, a guy who's coached quarterbacks before in Doug P.
I think Trevor Lawrence will show that more so of the Trevor Lawrence we saw at Clemson because of Doug Peterson, because of the investment that team made in terms of getting better personnel around him. And they've already been raving about an improved Trevor Lawrence down in Jacksonville. Because of that alone, I think he'll make a significant progression. Trevor Lawrence can be a good quarterback in this league if you put him in the right system. Well, you made a mistake by putting him under Urban Meyer, which could have shattered him his first year.
Yeah.
But Trevor Lawrence is a different pedigree when it comes to quarterbacks. And now that you have a proven coach who has won a Super Bowl, who has proven that he can work with young quarterbacks as he did. I know Frank Reich gets a lot of credit for what Carson was, but Doug Peterson also had a significant hand in that as well. I think Trevor Lawrence is going to show you much better results than he did his year last year.
Okay. All right. Barrett?
Absolutely. You know, we're talking about a guy he was almost bred by his parents to be a great quarterback. You know, he's from a young kid, since he's like 7 years old, they try to make him the number 1 quarterback in the nation. And he and Justin Fields went back and forth, you know, in all those camps and 7-on-7s and all that stuff to become, you know, the best quarterbacks, you know, they could be. And I think he is the prototype that you want as a quarterback. He's not just a quarterback that sits in the pocket. He has skill. He can run. You know, he's an athlete, strong arm, can grasp systems. He was just in a bad situation. Doug is going to make sure that he comes out of this smelling like a lily, man. He will be one of the best quarterbacks. You know, within the next 3 or 4 years, he'll be one of the best quarterbacks in the league, guaranteed.
I'm with you. I watched enough of him in college that he is absolutely the real deal. It's just a matter of getting the pieces around him. If the offensive line, which stunk last year, is even mediocre, you're going to see this dude take leaps and bounds of improvement. So I'm a big believer there. I would ask you this, Barry. I want to start with it's one of your former teams, and this is more of a collection than it is specific, but you may get to the specific. Pittsburgh. Right now, there's a lot of people saying, what are we doing? Just give it to Pickett. Stop wasting everybody's time. There are others that say, hey, you know, Trubisky, let him start the year, you know, et cetera. And Mason Rudolph's still in there too. Where do you fall with the Pittsburgh setup?
You know what? I don't think you stop Pickett's, you know, Kenny Pickett's progression. I think you almost have to hand the keys over to him. Let him work through anything he needs to work through, become a starting quarterback in the NFL. Because Mr. Trubisky had his shot. And the mere fact that we're still having a conversation over who's the better quarterback just leads me to believe that Pickens is close enough right now that he could compete at a level on the same level as Trubisky. So why not just let him go? Don't stop his growth as a player. They already know that this may be one of those telling years where they might not win. Have a winning record this year.
Right.
So as they go forward, I think they go ahead and hand the keys over to him. Trubisky just isn't done enough. He didn't learn enough under Dable for him to be a starter. Like I said, since we're having a conversation, just leads to me knowing that he's not the guy, and they're going to probably go with Pickett sooner rather than later.
How about you, Derek?
Yeah, I think they'll go with Pickett sooner rather than later once they figure out that Trubisky isn't it. The best thing for any quarterback that's playing behind a Pittsburgh offense is Pittsburgh wants to run the football. And if they have success running the football, that alleviates some of that burden on the quarterback to have to step back there 35, 40 times a game. And just watching Pickett play a little bit in the preseason, man, I mean, he can sling it. He's got a quarterback better. Now, what is Pittsburgh's receiving core like? That remains to be seen. They have one or two decent guys, but does he have enough to get the job done?
Pickens looks like a beast.
Yeah, I just George Pickens to go along with the other young receiver they have from Notre Dame,
Deontay Johnson. I think they have some nice weapons.
So I think Pickett has a chance to succeed. Now, whenever he goes in, like any young quarterback, he's going to have to take his lumps. He's going to have to go through that, but I think he's going to come out, smelling a lot better on the other side of the tunnel when it's all said and done. And I think the quarterback situation in Pittsburgh down the road is in good hands with Pickett.
Yeah, I think there's an it factor with Pickett too, which is the one thing about Tomlin is he's not afraid. Like if he thinks Pickett's ready now, it'll be Pickett. I don't think he's going to just cater to hey, I got to play a veteran. I don't believe that with Mike Tomlin.
No, he just wants to win.
I'm with you.
And if the best player is a younger guy, he won't have a problem with pulling the trigger.
Yep,
to win.
Absolutely.
Tomlin takes a lot of pride in never having a losing season in 15 years.
Right,
that's unheard of in today's game.
It really, it's an incredible mark.
Yeah, and like Barrett said, if he feels that this guy gives him a better chance to win the game, he'll put him in a minute. Won't hesitate whatsoever.
All right, let's go with a guy who just got paid, Kyler Murray. Like, do we feel good about that setup out there, especially considering that 6 games without DeAndre Hopkins? I thought, real quick, I don't know if you guys watched any of the Sunday night game. I thought this was interesting. Kingsbury let Kyler Murray call the plays for a quarter.
Yeah.
Just to sort of give him a feel from the other side. Like, this is what it's like when you coach and what you're seeing and all that. I thought that was – I'm not the biggest – you guys know I'm not a big fan of Kingsbury. But I thought that was kind of an interesting move to say, hey, I just want you to see it from this vantage point, and, as we go forward. It sounds to me like Kyler's probably bitching a lot at Kingsbury, and you said, all right, dude, why don't you look at it from this perspective? Whatever. There's a million different ways you can look at it. But, Barrett, what do you think?
I don't like Kyler Murray in his game. I'm kind of turned off on Kyler Murray simply because I don't feel as though he's a team guy. I think he's a me guy. So I mean, to me, success only comes when you buy into that team concept, especially at the quarterback position. Yes, he's very talented, has a strong arm, but I don't know if this team will ride with him. I don't know if they'll be happy to follow him into harm's way when he's acted the way he's acted last year. I want to play, so I'm going to take everything off my social media that has to do with the Cardinals and take them off because I want to get paid, and I'm not going to come back unless I get paid. Come on, bro. I ain't gonna doubt. I'm not going to stop any man from getting their money.
Right.
But there is a way in which you need to do it, and him and his leadership qualities were not what I would say garner him getting support from the rest of that team. Yeah, he may have the money, but he definitely will have a lot of guys in his corner from the way he acted.
All right, Derek.
Arizona lost 4 of its last 5 games last season. If you look at Kyler Murray's numbers overall, not very impressive in terms of being productive. Like one game against the Rams, He threw for 383 yards, but no touchdowns and 2 interceptions, and he was sacked 4 times. So that tells me that Kyler Murray is still going through a lot of growing issues. And like Barrett said, to still be a young quarterback and to pull what he pulled to get paid, deleting his social media account, taking down anything pertaining to the Arizona Cardinals. I thought he went about it the wrong way. If you are the face of that franchise, the leader of that organization, then I don't know if his agent was advising him or if he did it on his own, but whoever it was, I think they gave him the wrong message in terms of how to handle yourself as a professional athlete and as the number one leader of a team that you want to follow you. So when you have a receiver also like a DeAndre Hopkins, he can make a lot of bad passes look good. Well, you don't have DeAndre the first 6 games of the season this year. So now you got your big money. You got what you wanted. All of a sudden, as soon as you got close to getting your money, Cardinals were back on your social media platform and everything was rosy. But now you're number one receiver and one of the premier pass catchers in all of pro football and not there to bail you out. It's on you. The onus is on you now. And I'm interested in seeing how he conducts his business coming out of the gate.
All right. Well, let's sort of rapid fire the rest of these because I want to get to week 12 here. Ryan Tannehill. He's got Malik Willis there in the wings at some point. They still think they can win. It's Tannehill's job, certainly right now. I think they prefer to have a red shirt for Willis in Tennessee. But he's been a guy who's been solid. But ultimately, that team has not gotten as far as they would have hoped. Where do you guys stand with Tannehill? Again, rapid fire gunner.
Wow. I'm not sold on Tannehill. I mean, when you consider he had A.J. Brown, he only had 21 touchdowns and 14 picks last year. That tells me there's still a lot of questions and marks about a guy who's been around the block for as long as he has. I'm not a big Tannehill fan. So I'm going to say he's going to struggle this year.
Okay. Barrett.
Same with me. He's going to struggle this year. I'm not a big fan of him either because he just doesn't, to me. He's just not a player that, I see him as an upper echelon player as far as quarterback position.
I just think in a playoff setting, if they're down, I don't feel good about him bringing them back.
Nope.
No.
All right. Matt Ryan in Indy. Barrett, hit you with this first. Rapid fire.
Upside. I like him. With that running game and that offensive line, he'll be very productive. Even with the buster receivers that he has, I think he'll be all right.
All right, Derek.
Frank Reich is there, running game, offensive line, suspect on the pass catchers, but I think Matt Ryan has proven that he can take you down the field in big game situations. Never won a Super Bowl, but he can get you down there, get you in position. I'm on the upside of Matt Ryan.
Yeah, I am too. I think he's going to do well. I think it's going to be more even a culture thing down there. They're a little shell shocked from what went down last year, and he's going to provide just sort of calming waters. And I think it's going to be good for him. And I think he and Reich will work really well together. All right, Jameis Winston.
I'm high on him.
High on him. Barrett, Barrett, you're a big believer, and there's a lot of pieces around him to have success for sure.
He has a squad. I like him. Same offensive coordinator, even though Sean is not there. He sees it. He wants a new contract. He feels as though, he got a 2-year deal, but he wants to show everybody that he is the real deal. So I like him. I like what his skill set is. I don't think he goes out with all those 30 interceptions, the 30 touchdowns. I think it's go the opposite way. He'll have like 30 something touchdowns and probably have like 10 interceptions, and that team will be pretty good.
All right, Derek.
I think you know how I feel about the situation. I mean, he was having a phenomenal year last year until he got hurt. And so with that said, Pete Carmichael is there calling the shots. It's not like he's learning a new system or anything like that. So I'm on the upside of Jameis Winston. If he stays healthy, I think Jameis Winston is going to have a good year this year. He's got everything you need at his disposal to lead a team to a very successful season. So it's on Jameis Winston to get it done. Now, if that foot injury is more than what they're letting on right now, we're going to find that out. But the fact that he threw in 7 games, 14 touchdowns and 3 interceptions tells me that Pete Carmichael worked wonders with him in his first year with him. I'm on the upside of Jameis.
Tua in Miami with Mike McDaniel.
I'm not confident in Tua.
Okay.
I just think that he's just on the small side, and he doesn't really have the arm capacity to throw the guys like the cheetah. I mean, there's a lot of guys don't have that arm that can, have a cannon strong enough to throw to guys like, the cheetah. You know what I'm saying? When you got a guy that's running a 4.240 and you just go throw it up there, I don't know if you trust it. I wouldn't trust Jalen throwing up to a guy like that. I mean, you got to be a gifted type of quarterback. I wouldn't trust Brady. You know what I'm saying? Getting it up in the air far enough that, have him go up run underneath it. So I don't know if he can run the offense that they need to run to maximize their receivers that they have there.
Derek?
Woo! You got Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Cedric Wilson, good running game. But I've said it before, I'll say it again. Get ready for the Teddy Bridgewater show. Plain and simple.
Yeah, I look, I hate to agree and pile on. I think Tua is too injury prone. I don't think he has a good enough arm. I think they're going to have to try to overcompensate by having him get it out quick. And I think they're going to be disappointed. He's got Waddle, he's got Cheetah, he's got Gesicki, he's got a lot of good weapons, man. So there's every opportunity there. I don't see it. I don't see it. All right, I want to get two more in here. Baker Mayfield in Carolina, Derek.
Woo!
He is the starter.
Matt Rule is a great offensive coach. He's proven that at the collegiate level. The reason they struggled because he didn't have the kind of quarterback he wants to run his offense. Baker Mayfield is that kind of quarterback that can run his offense. I think Baker wants to prove. Baker has this proverbial chip on his shoulder because of the way the Cleveland situation went down. And Baker knows this could be his last chance to shine. I'm on the upside of Baker Mayfield down in Carolina. I like their offensive structure. I like Matt Rule's play calling. And I think he'll put Baker in the best position to succeed. So I'm on the upside of Baker.
All right, Barrett.
I think Baker is out and out the better quarterback, period, point blank. He just doesn't, he's just a better quarterback than Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold just wasn't what we thought he was going to be, coming out of USC. He's just not good enough to be that type of quarterback. Baker was the number one pick. He's good enough to carry a team. Is that good enough to win? Yes. He's good for this team and what they're trying to do. So, yeah, I'm a believer in Baker Mayfield.
I think he's got a lot of incentive to play well. And that's a desperate team. And desperate teams sometimes can go one of two ways. But they don't win. They don't make the playoffs. Matt Rule's probably gone. So there's a lot of people where this is a critical season. The quarterback, the coaching staff, the team. A lot of this is McCaffrey staying healthy. But, yeah, I'm buying him. I'm buying him for sure. All right, last one, Carson Wentz. Derek, you can take first crack.
Oh, wow. You're going to make me that card.
In D.C., yes.
So far, everything we've heard out of D.C. is that Carson has struggled down there in terms of adapting. He's got the pass catchers, no question about that. He's got a nice array of pass catchers. They had a 1,000-yard rusher in Antonio Gibson last year. Offensive line is a question mark because they lost Brandon Scherf in free agency. So Carson has to show me. The fact that two teams gave up on him in a span of 2 seasons tells me that there's concern about him being what everybody thought he would be coming out of college. He hasn't come close to being what he was in 2017. A lot of that was due to the multitude of offensive line injuries the Eagles had the next 2 seasons. Right now, I don't see it. The fact that there's more negative talk coming out of D.C. about Carson than positive, I think that's a problem. So I'm going to say I'm on the downside of Carson right now.
I'm on the downside of Carson because I just don't like Carson.
I knew you gonna say that.
The player, I don't like Carson. His ability to be a leader of men. He has all you want in a quarterback. He has a rifle, he has a cannon of an arm, athletic. Sometimes he plays out of his mind. Sometimes he plays very pedestrian. I think he's going to play the pedestrian sides because he doesn't have the social qualities to be a good leader on a team. I don't think that he really learned that even after 1 year being in Indianapolis. So I just don't feel as though he's that guy that can, turn things around that fast.
I just think he's going to be the same, hang on to the ball too long. I think he's just in that There's no coming out of it. I just think it's sort of who he is at this point. I don't think he'll live to see another day. I think he only knows one way. He's only interested in one way. He's stubborn to a fault. And I think it's going to continue down there. I just don't. I think he'll make a spectacular play where you say, "Oh my God, like that's that guy." You know, there's a 2017 guy. It's incredible. But then he'll make 3 bad plays during the course of a game, 1 or 2 that kill you. And I just think that's who he is at this point. And he does have good weapons. He does. He's got talent around him, you know, for sure. But I just don't think he knows any other way. All right, let's dive into this is week 12, guys. It's Thanksgiving now we're up to, believe it or not.
True.
So, yeah, it doesn't go fast. So there's got 3 games on Thursday. The early game, the usual, is Detroit. They get Buffalo. Kind of interesting, right? They get the Bills and the Lions in the noon game. Then you have the Giants and Dallas are your middle game in Dallas. And then the nightcap's nice. Patriots and Vikings in Minnesota. So they're your 3 just to start your Thursday off in between turkey. Not bad. You know, all things considered. Even the Detroit game's kind of interesting with Buffalo.
I think that game will be interesting for about a half. and then Buffalo puts that one away.
Yeah, Buffalo's just by the time you get to by the time dessert's served, that's over, or is that
right? I think the better game is going to be, like you said, Patriots Vikings. But I really think that the Giants might sneak up on the Cowboys.
There you go.
I don't think they'll be totally vested in that game.
Okay, I like it. Interesting. Real good. Here comes some good ones, man. After that, Bucks Browns. Depending, at that point you could see Deshaun Watson back. Bucks Browns, Bengals Titans.
Oh yeah.
Good one. Broncos Panthers, Chargers Cardinals, Rams Chiefs, Saints 49ers, Sunday night Packers Eagles Gunner.
Woo!
Monday night Steelers Colts. Like, I'm just glossing through these, but that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's 8 great games again. Every week.
8 easy.
Yeah.
8 easy games. I mean, it's, you got teams fighting for their lives, man. You got teams fighting for the bottom of the barrel. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the Bengals-Titans game is going to be unreal.
Yeah, it is.
Unreal. Because this is where things start falling in position as far as jockeying position for the playoffs. Around week 12 and on, this is where you jockey for playoff berths. So now, the Titans Bengals really, really do have a lot to prove. And then you got the bottom seller Bears against the Jets, the new coach on the block with the Bears, and then you got, coaches trying to get this team better with the Jets. I like that matchup. That's going to be a great matchup.
Man, by that point of the season, the Bears may be firing the head coach, man. That team is atrocious.
Yeah, they have such a lack of talent on that team overall, man. I feel bad for Justin Fields. Like, he may have a terrible year, and it may not be his fault one bit.
Right.
You know what I mean? It may be one of these deals where you just like, this dude's out there alone.
By himself.
They have no pass catchers. Offensive line is a mess. Defense, you got Roquan Smith that didn't want to be there.
Yeah.
Dude, it could be ugly. It could be ugly.
Even on the broadcast the other night, whenever they were playing a national game, and the announcers are like, "Yeah, I mean, the GM basically just told us like they don't have any depth. Like they were not even like
hiding it. Not even trying to hide it. Yeah.
No. So
a friend of ours, Deuces Rogers, is from Chicago, and every year, he and I go at it. Texting back and forth. I don't expect to hear from him the whole season.
No, I think it'll be quiet. Deuces will be quiet. Yeah, I don't see that. Yes, I agree. Yeah, not a lot of bragging rights there. That's for sure.
Super Bowl battle, Chiefs Rams from 2 years ago.
Oh, geez, man, that's awesome. Even Monday night, Steelers Colts, like that. That Eagles Packers game. I know we're gonna have a pretty good handle of what the Eagles look like by that point, but that's another great test. Like, how far has this defense come? Are you just going to be shredded again by another, quality quarterback, by another future Hall of Famer? So we'll have an idea on all those kind of things. All right,
Rodgers calling out everybody in Green Bay. Everybody is a young passer. He's calling everybody out.
Yeah, he's not afraid to go after him. No. All right, when we come back, news on a couple of coaches. One famous high school coach, one famous college coach. I'll tell you who the leader in the clubhouse is for the Heisman. There may be a sale of a Major League Baseball team, which will make some people happy. And we'll get into some birthdays, including a friend of the show. All right. So you don't want to go anywhere. We got a lot. We're going to do in the last segment. So don't go anywhere. We are Sports Take. Derek, Barrett, Rob, JAKIB Sports.